Okay, let's begin. Good morning, all. Very warm welcome to Prathidhwani Technical Forum session. Today we have the fourth session on the series on data science. Today we will learn about Python. So last week we had a session on R, and before that we had a session on statistics. So if you get time, just go through the sessions. It will be available in the FB Live. So if you already got the message that we shared, that will have all the links to FB Live. It's a good learning experience. So today we have Harikrishnan as a speaker. He's an intern in Waggle lab. So he'll give us a basic details understanding about Python, so that you can begin your journey with Python and data science. Over to you, Hari. I'll make you as a host. You may go ahead and share your screen. Okay.
Yeah. Hello. Am I audible to all?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you are the host now.
Okay, fine. Okay, so I'll introduce myself to you once again. So my name is Harikrishnan. I'm doing my MSc Data Science at University of Kerala, Karotan campus. And I've been working with the Waggle lab as a data scientist for the past 8 months. So in this workshop, it's basically a workshop. We'll be learning the basics of Python program. So we'll start from the installation part and we move on to various other concepts of Python. And let's begin. Okay, so before moving on to the hands-on session, I just want to give you a small introduction about Python program. So it's very important to know why and where the Python program is used. Yes, okay, fine. Okay, so here in this workshop, we will learn about the basics of Python. So if you follow the last series, so the last session was about the R program. So now I'm having a question, which one is better, the R program or Python program? So both the languages are very famous and there should be some difference, right? So basically I can say that since the workshop is regarding Python program, I had to claim that Python is much better than R. So it's not like that, okay? So there are some criteria or some surveys and researches which state that Python is better than R. Let's see what are they. Okay, so the first one is speed. So obviously we like to complete everything as fast as possible. So it's a major criteria, the speed. The Python runs much faster than the R program. And the second statement is that Python is easier to learn. So it may vary. I know that it may vary from person to person, but by generally saying, it's stated that Python is easier to learn. It's due to, I have found on Google that various surveys and researchers show that Python is much easier to learn than R program. The third thing is that Python has got a largest, no, it is correct, it has got the largest community as a programming language because it is used over more than 20 million people worldwide and it has got a huge community. The fourth one is that its popularity index. So in the next slide, I will show the comparison of the popularity. So right now, let it be there. And the fifth one is that its job opportunity. We can see on Google, LinkedIn, and lot everywhere. The job opportunity of Python developers, the data science job is increasing tremendously. So for all these works, Python is an important. So if you are moving towards the data science field, anyway, you have to learn Python. You cannot say that, okay, I don't like Python, so I cannot learn. But to sustain in that field, anyway, you have to learn Python program. So this is the ranking of the top programming languages. So it's published on September 2020. As you can see that the Python hold the first for the past many years. And the share of Python is 31.56, which is almost twice as the Java, which is placed at the second. So all this makes Python much more popular. And you can see the trend also. Python has got a positive trend about 3%, which is much higher than any other programming languages. On the second spot, you can see that Java has got minus 3.1. So which is not too bad. So this state that Python is very popular. Most of the companies are using Python and it's trending everywhere. Okay. So he's the one who invented or who designed the Python program. So Python was initially designed by Guido and Rosum in 1991 and it's in a National Research Institute in Netherlands. Okay. So if you feel that the speed is really, it's so fast, please let me know, okay? And if you feel any uncomfortable in any of the sessions or if you do not understand any of the things, please let me know by pinging on the chat. Okay. The second thing is that Python is currently the most widely used multi-purpose high-level programming language. So it's used in various fields to solve a lot of things. Okay. And it's a high-level programming language. So Python programs generally are smaller than other programming languages like Java. So if you surf on YouTube or Google, you can see that the program written in C and C++ started one page and ended some other page. So it's too lengthy. But compared to Python, if you compare Python to that languages, the codes in Python are really small and it's easy to code. Okay. Okay. So these are some of the tech giants that uses Python in their softwares and all. So Quora, edX, Uber, Google, even NASA is using Python in their softwares. So this proves the power of Python. Okay, these are some of the most widely used Python applications. It's used in web applications, image processing. It's used in business applications, audio and video based application, and a lot more. So these are some of the applications of Python. Okay, now let's see some of the most commonly and widely used Python libraries and packages. So if you are moving towards the data science field, anyway you have to use all these packages. So the first one is pandas. It's one of the core package in Python. So it's mostly used for data analysis purpose. So you can create data frames and many other things. So by the time of the webinar series, you will let to know about all these packages in detail. So stay tuned. Okay, the second thing is scikit-learn. So it's very useful in machine learning things. The third one is that matplotlib. So it's used to represent graphically. If there are huge amount of data, it's easy to represent graphically so that we can understand what the data is about, what is the hidden pattern and various trend of the data. So it's highly useful to visualize the data in order to create a better understanding about the data. The fourth one is that SciPy. So it's a software for mathematical science and engineering works. It's highly used data science and data engineering field. And again, NumPy. It's also very important because we'll be using NumPy and pandas the most, I think the most while dealing with data science work. So NumPy is highly recommended for scientific computing. Okay. So these are some of the Python visualization libraries. So matplotlib, bokeh, seaborn, plotly, ggplot, and you have many. There are many visualization packages, but these are some of the visualization packages available on Python. And we'll be using matplotlib, seaborn, ggplot. We'll be using all these too often. Okay, so these are some of the visualization output. So we can visualize these kinds of visualization using these libraries. We can represent it 3D, bubble plot, scatter plot, pie chart, bar graph, vertical bar graph. So there are a lot of options available in Python libraries to visualize, as you can see in the image. Okay. Now, I think these are some of the basic, introduction to Python. I don't believe in moving to, I don't want to be a great theoretical part. So let's move on to the hands-on session. Okay, so I'll be using Anaconda Navigator. It's a desktop graphical user interface where we'll be using our Python library. Okay, to install Anaconda Navigator, first of all, you have to go to www.anaconda.com. So it's an open source software. So we will be running our Python library in this platform. So at the top, you can see a section called product. Just point your mouse there. So you can see the drop down menu showing that individual edition. So we will be downloading this individual edition. It's an open source. It's a free of cost. So just click on that. So it will take you to another page. So here in this session, you can see that it's just the basic introduction. Okay, don't worry about this. The data science toolkit with over 20 million. Yeah, it has got more than 20 million worldwide users and it's open source. So in order to download the Anaconda Navigator, you can either click here or you can scroll down. Scroll down and see that these are the installation files for Anaconda Navigator. So it works well in Windows, Mac OS and Linux. So it's very easy to download in Windows and Mac OS because as per the system requirement, either it's 64-bit or 34-bit, you can download the installation file and just the installation window will pop up and just accept the terms and condition and you can install directly. So but whereas in Linux, you have to type some command on the terminal. So first of all, you have to install the installation file. Thereafter, you have to type this command. So go to the particular directory. So if you know in Windows, actually I am not familiar with Ubuntu because I'm using Windows for the past many years. So suppose that if you downloaded the installation file in the folder called downloads, just move to that particular folder using the terminal and write this command. And you have one more option. I think it works well. You can drag and drop the installation file directly to the terminal so that it automatically gets installed. You can try that also. So this is how you. Hello? Any doubts? Anyone is having any doubts? You can, directly ping me on the chat.
Hello.
Hello.
Harikrishnan, this is Arun.
Okay.
Yeah. I just joined. So, so are you talking Python in the field of data science?
No, I'm giving a general overview of Python. So it's common for everyone, even if you're in data science or any other field, it's common.
Okay. Then what is this stands for, like this R?
No, in the last class, if you followed the last session, it's regarding R program. So I just want to compare the webinar series. That's why.
Yeah, actually I didn't attend the last session. That's it.
Actually, it's available on Facebook and YouTube. You can directly, you can watch it later on, so that you will get a better understanding about these topics. Okay, thank you. Okay, so after you install this Anaconda Navigator, you can either just open the Anaconda Navigator and you can see an interface like this. So it won't be this much complicated because you won't see all these things at cmd.x. You will see Jupyter Lab, Notebook, Qt console, and it will be very less. Okay, so click on the launch. So here you can see Jupyter Notebook. This is where we run our Python program. It's basically like, we all have different types of fonts, and we know that the OS is Android. So we use Android in order to run a particular, just take the example of PUBG. So we use the Android to download or to run the application called PUBG. And inside the PUBG, we have a lot of things to do. Like there are a lot of places, a lot of communication to different people and so on. So we use OS and we use PUBG in order to run some specific thing. Likewise, we use Anaconda and we use Jupyter to run the Python program. Okay. So I'll give a basic understanding of Jupyter Notebook also. Okay. So Jupyter Notebook is a web application that allows you to create, share documents that contains. It is used to share live codes. It's easy to represent and visualize data. It's easy to, we can write text, headings and so on. I'll show you in the notebook so that you can understand it much properly. So Jupyter Notebook is great for users such as learn and try out Python, data processing, numeric simulation. And it's easy to, create statistical model and machine learning concept. We can easily do it on Jupyter Notebook. And moreover that, most of the companies is using Jupyter Anaconda Navigator rather than other console like Python Idle and so on. So Anaconda Navigator is one of the most used GUI, desktop graphical user interface, in this present world. Okay, now let's move on to the practical sessions. Okay. Wait a minute. Okay, so this is how the Anaconda Navigator looks like. Now you have to click on launch button. This is our Jupyter Notebook. Just click on launch button and it will open up the Jupyter Notebook in your default web browser. That is, if you are using Chrome, it will open up in Chrome. If you are using some other Internet Explorer, it will open up in Internet Explorer and so on. So this is how the front page look like. So here you can see a lot of files and folders. So these are the Python files which are already served in my Jupyter Notebook. So here you can see that it's saved in IPYNB. So it's IPython Notebook. So it's saved in such format. And you can see running clusters. And by the time we will learn everything, first of all, let's open up our Python, or let's see how the Python program runs. So on the right side, you can see an option called new. Just click on that. And here you can see Python 3. So if you click on that, another Jupyter Notebook will get opened. So this is the place where we will be doing our coding parts and all other parts. So the main advantage of Jupyter Notebook is that we can write headings, we can write text, we can write codings and a lot more. So I will show you how. Before that, I will give a quick overview of this Jupyter Notebook. You can see a rectangle like this written as in. So this is where we write the coding part. This is basically called a cell. So inside the cell, we will be writing the different coding parts like 5 plus 5. 5 plus 5. So it's a basic mathematical operation. And in order to run this code, actually it's a code 5 plus 5. So in order to run this specific code, just click on run and you will get the output below that. So it's very easy to use. So whatever be the code, just write on these cells and you can click on run in order to run that specific code. And the second thing is that you can create headings. If you want to write any heading, suppose that actually 5 plus 5 is called addition. So I just want to create a heading called addition and I just want to do the operation like 5 plus 5. So for that, on this session you can see code. So it's by default it's written as code and just click on that and choose heading. Okay, one pop-up window will appear. Just click on OK. And here you can write addition. Okay. So here 5 plus 5. Okay. So likewise you can add headings. You can write text. This is a simple program. So in order to write these kinds of text, you have to choose the markdown menu. Okay, if you choose this markdown menu and click on run, it will be stored as a sentence. So it's very easy to learn because it's highly user friendly. In the sense, it's very user friendly because you can do you can save the files in a structured way, and even you can insert images. Right now I'm not inserting an image. In the edit section you can see that insert menu. Now you can see, it's just blocking up. Why? Because it's basically it's written as code. Just choose markdown, and now you can see the insert image menu is open to all. Okay, so here also you can see that a lot of options. Save and checkpoint. You can save the file whenever you want. On the right side you can add or delete. You can add a new cell in between. Suppose that I just want to create a new cell after below this cell. I just want to create one more cell. So just click on this cell, and if you click on this plus button, you can see a new cell appearing below that. So this is how you can add a cell above or below. If you want to add a cell above this one, just click on insert and click insert cell above. So it's very user friendly. I just want to say that it's very user friendly because you can edit, modify, and everything is much easy in this Jupyter notebook. And one more advantage is that you can even run R program on Jupyter notebook. The last class, I think you have used RStudio in order to run R program, but you can run R program in Jupyter notebook also. There are a lot of videos available on the YouTube which show how to create an environment for R program on Jupyter notebook. You can refer there and you can see how it is done. Okay, so by default, it's seen that it's named as untitled 186. So this particular file is saved as untitled 186. What if I want to change the name? So it's very important now. We have to create a specific name for the specific files which we are using. Can someone comment? Because I received a problem.
Your audio is clear, Hari. You can go ahead.
Okay, fine. So okay, if you want to change the file name, just click on this untitled 186. So you can see another pop-up menu open, and here you can name, suppose that new one. Okay, so here you can see that the name has changed to new one, and this we can just move on to the home page of Jupyter notebook, and let's search for new in AW. Okay, new one. So it's currently showing that it's running and it's new one. We can see that the name has changed in the directory. It's changed to new one rather than untitled 186, 189, something like that. Okay. So hope you are getting a basic idea of Jupyter notebook, how to run code, how to create heading, how to create sentences and all. Okay. So first of all, so I have a question. Could you please repeat the steps of creating a new Jupyter notebook? So it's basically easy. Just open up the Anaconda navigator, and here you can see a Jupyter notebook icon. Just click on launch. Since I already opened the Jupyter notebook, I am not launching it once again. Just click on launch, and it will show a window page like this. So this is how it look like. So basically by default it will all the files will be shown here. So these are the files which are already present in the Jupyter notebook. On the right side you can see a new option. Just click on that. The right side, new, click on that and choose Python 3. So it will directly take into some another tab, and a new Jupyter notebook will get opened up. Hope it's clear to you. Okay. So the first thing we have to understand is that what a variable is. Okay. Okay, fine. So a Python variable is a reserved memory location to store values. In other words, a variable in Python program gives data to computer for processing. So basically a Python variable stores a particular values. It may be numbers, decimal points, characters, and Boolean. Boolean in the sense true or false values. Okay, it stores these values to a particular position in the Python. It's like a box where we put the things. So the Python variables store particular values in the Python. Let's see. So suppose that distance equal to 20. So here I am storing the value 20 to the variable distance. Basically distance is a variable and I am storing the value 20 to the distance and time equal to 5. So right now I am storing the value time. I am storing the value 5 to the variable 5. Please raise your volume. Okay. Okay, fine. I'll try to raise the volume. Okay. Now I have to find the speed of the. I have to find the speed. So the equation for speed is distance by time. So I am creating another variable. So distance is a variable which has got value 20 in it. Time is a variable which has got 5 in it. And now I have to find the speed. So speed equal to distance divided by time. So the distance is 20, the time is 5. And I click on run. So right now you cannot see any output because we have done the calculation part, but we do not ask the Python to print the output. So in order to print the output, we use a command called print. So use print and inside the bracket. So we have to print the speed, right? Yes, type speed. Click on run. Now you can see the output as 4. So what we have done is that we just created a variable, we just assigned a particular value to that, and we just created another variable time. Same thing, we have assigned a value 5 to that, and we have done the operation speed equal to distance by time. Is basically find the speed of the whatever it is, find the speed of that particular thing, and later we just printed the speed. Okay, so there are some criteria while creating a variable. Okay, so the first thing is that you cannot start a variable name with a number. Actually, you can create a variable using any letter or word. Okay, x equal to 20. It's a variable. X is a variable, but you cannot create a variable using a number. Okay, so it will show an error. If you try to create a variable starting with a number, it shows an error. But you can have a number in a variable. In the sense, just start with a letter like x2 equal to 100. So x2 is basically a variable and I am trying to store the value 100 to the x2. Now just try to run this program. Yeah, it's not showing any error. Let's try to print this out and see whether, yeah. So you can see that the 100 is stored in the variable x2. So the first thing is that we cannot use numbers as the starting of a variable. The second thing is that you cannot use special characters. Special characters in the sense hash, at, and to create a variable x equal to 20. Yeah, it will show an error if you use the special characters while creating a variable. The same thing happens. It doesn't matter whether you use the special characters at the beginning or at anywhere in the variable. So it's not allowed to use special characters while creating a variable. And the third thing is that you can use underscore while creating a variable. Even you can start the variable name with an underscore. So hash2 equal to 20. So let's run this out. Okay. So it's one of the important thing because we can use underscore in order to start a variable name. So it won't give you any error. So it's a simple example, and yeah, these are the some of the basic rules in order to create a variable. Okay. Can anyone tell that will it gives an output or will it result in an error? You can type on the chat box. Is it right or is it wrong? No one? Correct. Okay. So Ridu, he said that is correct. Yeah, it's correct because we are using underscore. It's possible to store the value in that particular variable. Okay. So now we can move on to the different data types. So we were dealing with the number part alone. Okay, I will show you one more thing. You can also store letters also. Okay, so x equal to hello world. You can store letters, sentence, and everything to the variable. It's not just we can store numbers alone. We can use characters and many other things. Let's try to print x. Okay, you can see the output as hello world. So this is how we store the characters in a Python variable. Let's see what are the different types of different data types available in the Python. So this is what I was referring to. We can create heading, we can create markdown, again it's a heading, we can insert images. So this is what I was referring at the first. We can insert heading, image and everything, and here I can write the code. Okay, so basically we just have 4 data types in our Python. They are integers, float, string and Boolean type. So in these integers are basically the whole numbers and it's negative, including 0. Okay, so I think these are familiar to all. X equal to 5. It's an integer. In order to find the class or object of that particular variable, we use a function called type. So type is used to find which data type, or by the time we will learn about data structures, so which class the particular variable belongs to. Just type of x. So I have to run this code again. So you can see int. It's a short form for integer. So if you check for the type of x, it's showing that it's an integer. So the next one is that float. So float are basically the real numbers. So it includes the decimal points, 2.16, 0.03, even the negative integer, minus 0.3. All these are float values. Let's see, because we have to confirm that. So x equal to minus or 1.2. Run type of x. You can see it's showing float. So the decimal points are referred, all the decimal points and other real numbers comes under float. Okay. Okay. The third one is that string. What a string does that it stores characters. So we use strings in order to save characters, letters, words to a particular variable. So while creating a string, you have to remember that the value assigned to that particular variable should be written or enclosed in a single quotes, double quotes, or you have to enclose it in a triple quotes. Like x equal to, here you can see hello world. I'll write my name, okay? So I am using double quotes in order to write my name, Hari. Just click on run. First of all, let's try to print that. Okay, you can see my name. So what if I remove this quotes? Basically, I will get an error because in order to create a string character, you have to use single quotes, either single quotes, double quotes, or triple quotes. Okay. So we can check the type. For that, I am inserting a cell below that and type of X. Okay, you can see str. It's called string. Hope you are getting everything thoroughly right. So if you have any doubts, just write on the chat box. It's open up the right side. Okay, now we can see what a Boolean function is. So Boolean contains of true or false values. So the Boolean values are either true or false. So as you can see, x equal to true, type of x. It's called Boolean. So Boolean contains true or false values. So I'll write y equal to false. And if I type y, so I forgot to run this thing. Okay. So you can see the output as bool. So this is where we store x. It contains true or false values. Okay. Now we can move on to that various operations in Python. So as of other programming languages, we also have a lot of operations in Python. So these are the basic operations in Python. The first one is Python arithmetic operators. So it's like mathematics, addition, subtraction, and so on. We got comparison operator, we got logical operator, we have identity operators, and we have Python membership operators. Okay. Okay. So these are the Python arithmetic operators. We have addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. We have modulus function, exponential function like 2 raised to 3, and we have floor divisions. So let's see some of them. It's really hard to check everything, but we will look some of them. So suppose that we already seen the addition part. Now we can check how subtraction works. 10 minus 5. Just click on run. You can see the output as 5. Let's see how exponential function work. Suppose that I just want to find 2 raised to 3. So first of all, we write 2, the base value, and we give the exponential operator. So it's basically a 2 star. Just write 2 star and 3. So this basically do is it will calculate 2 raised to 3, and you can see the output as 8. So the other one more thing, let's see what a modulus function is. It gives you the remainder. Okay. So suppose that 5 modulo 3. So it's clear that if we divide 5 by 3, you will get a remainder as 2. So the modulus function give you the remainder. So here you can see the value as 2. Likewise, if you do any other operation using modulus function, you can see the remainder of that particular operation. Okay. The next one is that Python comparison operator. As the name indicates, it's used to compare different operators and all. Let's check how this works. So suppose that x equal to 10 and y equal to 12. So it's a basic command. I click on run and I'm asking Python print x less than y. So what I ask Python is whether x is less than y or not. So since x is less than y, we have to get the output as true. So if you change it x greater than y, we'll get the output as false. So the machines are thinking as humans, right? So we are asking a question and he is giving the proper answer. How unfair. Okay. So the next thing is that Python logical operator. So we have got three things: and, or, and not. So what exactly and do is that returns true if both statements are true. So I will show you a simple example. Suppose that I am giving x equal to a Boolean value true and y equal to false. Okay, and I'm asking Python to print x and y. Okay, so the statement describes that it will return the output as true if both statements are true. So here one of the statement is true and one of the statement is false. So what will be the output? Since both statements are not true, I have to get an output as false. Yeah, I'm getting the output as false, and if I change to true, I'll get the output as true. So this is how it works. If the both conditions are true, and if I am using AND statement, I have to get the output as true. If either of them are false, or if one of them are false, I have to get the output as false. So now we have to understand how OR operator works. So the same thing I am copy pasting the thing. Okay. So I'll give x as false and y as true, and I am asking the Python to print x or y. So here in the statement you can see that it will return true if one of the statement is true. So if the Python detects either of the statement or one of the statement is true, we will get the output as a true, because here you can see that we have y equal to true. So it should give you the result as true. And in the not operator, it's reverse the result. It basically it will reverse the result. So here we are having the result as true, and if you are using a not operator, it will reverse the result. So later it was true, and now we got the output as false. So these are the basic things. It's very easy to learn. And the next thing is that Python identity operators. So Python identity operators has got two things. The one is and is not. So returns true if both variables have same object. What it it's like an equals to symbol, because if one thing is present on other or one is equal to other, it will give you the result as true, and if it's not, we will get an output as false. So here I am writing x equal to 10, and I am asking this. I have to run this now. Okay, and I am asking the Python whether x is 3. So I know that x is equal to 10, but I am asking Python whether x is 3, and I am getting the output as false, because it's clear that x is not 3. And I am telling the Python that x is not 3. Yeah, the statement is true, right? X is not 3. So we have to get the output as true, and it is. So this is how we use identity operators and in. So it will return true if a sequence with a specific value is present in the object. Suppose that I am giving x equal to hello world. So it's a string value. I am giving hello world to the variable x. I just run the program, and I am asking Python print h. So this h in x. So what it checks is that it will look for h in this variable. So the variable has got hello world in it, and it checks for the value or the string h in this particular variable. So since h is present in the variable, I have to get the output as true. Suppose that I just want the Python to check for Z. Since Z is not present on the variable X, I have to get an error. Okay, we can check one more thing, whether it's case sensitive, whether it will detect the uppercase and lowercase. So I will write a small h. So we already written capital H here. Now I am writing a small h so that I have to check whether it works well or not. So when I click on run, I'm getting the error. I'm getting the output as false. It clearly states that it is case sensitive. So it will detect the uppercase as uppercase and lowercase as lowercase. So this is how we work with membership operators. And these are, the different data types and various operators in Python. Now let's move on to the next section, that is data structures. So here we basically we store a particular one value, right? X equal to 10. We are not storing a list of values or multiple values to a variable. We are just storing a particular value to a variable. So what if I want to, save a set of or different value to a particular variable. So for that, we use data structures. So we have got, so these are the most commonly used data structures, okay? These are not only the data structures, we have more data structures, but these are the most commonly used data structures as a beginner. So the first one is tuple, the second one is list, the third one is dictionary, and the last one is set. So let's see each one of them in detail. So a tuple is a one-dimensional immutable ordered sequence of items which can be of mixed data types. So a tuple can store different data types in it, and it's immutable. We cannot change the order. We cannot change the values inside a tuple. Let's see how it's work. So I'm creating a variable called example tuple, and tuple is stored using round brackets. We use round brackets in order to create a tuple. So the first value is 26. The second value is I'm creating a string value called high. The third one is I'm creating a float 7.66, and the last one is suppose true. So I have created integer, string, float, and a Boolean value into a tuple. Just run this and let's try to print. Example tuple. Okay. So here I have to say that we can, in Jupyter Notebook, you can use print function, and even you can print the variable by directly running it on a cell. But I prefer to use print function because you are a beginner, so you have to follow from like it should be a step-by-step learning. So you are try to use print function, and you get the output as which are already served. So as you can see that it's stored in a round brackets, and we are getting the values here. Okay. As I said earlier, I said we cannot change the values in a tuple. So suppose that I just want to insert a particular value at index 2. Okay, so I will tell you what the index is about. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 values in the tuple. So the 4 values has got its own index. The index starts from 0. So what it does is that the 26 is having the index 0. Suppose that on the downside there's a index called 0. The next one, high, has got an index 1. 7.66 has got index 2, and true has got index 3. So these particular values which are given to a tuple has got its own index. Hope you are getting it. So 26 has got index 0, high has got index 1, 7.66 has got index 2, and true has got index 3. So I'll show how it works. So example tuple, and I just want to print this high. I just want to print this high alone. I don't want all these items to be printed, and I just want to print high. So I'll check for the index. So it's 0 and it's 1. So I'll give the index as 1. So for that we use a square bracket, and we use the tuple name and the square bracket calling the index. When I run this, I will get the output as high. So if you want to print a particular data types or values in a tuple, you can use index in order to print that. On the same way, you can slice. Like I just want to print these two values. So how to print that? For that, just write down the variable name, Python tuple, tuple. And you have to specify the starting point. The starting point is high. The index of high is 1. And the ending point, 1 greater than the ending point. So it's basically 0, 1, 2. So I have to give the value as 3. So it will print the index value of 1 and 2. So 1 has got the index of 1 is high and index of 2 is 7.6. And it won't print the index at 3. Let's see. Okay. So this is how you can slice the elements in a tuple. Are you getting it clearly? Hello?
Yes, Hari.
Okay, fine. Okay. And as I said earlier, I said that we cannot change the values in a tuple. Let's see whether it's right or wrong, because we have to check now. I cannot believe by only saying in your words. So we have to check whether it's true or false. So I'll write example tuple, and we have a function called insert. So what this does is, I just want to insert a particular word at the index 2. So I specify the index first. So example tuple, the name of our tuple, and I'm using a built-in function called insert to insert a specific value. And I just want to insert a value at the index 2, and suppose that value is cricket. Okay, so I just want to insert the cricket at the index 2. So when I run this, I'm getting an error that shows tuple object has no attribute insert. This means that we cannot edit or modify the values in a tuple. Okay. So the next one is that a list. A list is a collection of ordered and.
Excuse me, can I ask one doubt?
Okay.
You said we can print the consecutive list tuple, like first index and the second index we print by giving 1:3.
Yeah.
Is it possible to print the unconsecutive data? Like if we want to print the first index and the third index together, is it possible?
It's possible. For that, you have to create another tuple. Just create another tuple, and you have to specify that particular index.
My doubt is that whether we can print high and true together, like we print high and 7.6s together. High and 7.6 is consecutive, right? Like near to each other.
Yeah, we can print that. So actually, I will take you to that part when I started to teach you the function part. Okay. So there we are covering that.
Okay, thank you.
So here you can see that we cannot modify or edit the values. The next thing is that a list. So a list is a collection which is ordered and it's changeable. We can change the values in a list. So I'm taking the same example. I'm just changing it to a list. And in order to save a list, you have to use the square brackets in order to save a list. So we use square bracket to assign the value to a list. Okay. So Just click on run. And if I print example list, you can see the output, which is enclosed in a square bracket. So like that of a tuple, we can slice, we can extract a particular value from the list, and let's see whether we can insert the values. Okay. So when I run this thing, I'm not getting any error, because this sentence states that it's changeable. We can change or modify the values in a list. Okay. Now let's check whether it's true or false. Let's print this once again. And you can see that, okay, actually I just run the list 2 times. That's why I just got 2 outputs as result, cricket. So basically it does is that it insert the value cricket at index 2. So since I have run this code twice, that's why I'm getting 2 outputs as cricket in this example list. So if you run it once more, I will get 1 more cricket there. So that's the issue. It's not regarding any other thing. Okay. So the next thing is that a dictionary. A dictionary basically stores, it's having a key. You know, in the common dictionary, we are having a particular word, and the meaning for that corresponding word can be seen at the description. So likewise, in Python program, we are having a key and the meaning of that word. In Python, it's like the value for that particular key. And the things that are available on dictionary are, we can define, we can modify, we can view and look up the data which are already created in a dictionary. So to create a dictionary, we use curly brackets. So in tuple, we use round brackets. In list, we use square brackets. But in dictionary, we use curly brackets. Let's see. So I'm using X dictionary equal to, I'm using curly brackets. Suppose that I'm creating the key as mail. So just type the key and use a colon. So this is how we store the value to that particular key. We are not using equals to sign. We are using a colon in order to say that value to the key. So we write xyz at gmail.com. Since it's a string, I have to enclose it in a string. And I have to create one more key. It's called, suppose that I create year. So here, to that year, I am storing a integer value, 2020. Okay. And let me run this thing. X dictionary. Okay. So if I run this code, I will get the output as mail and its corresponding value is xyz at gmail.com. And I'll get the year as 2020. So what if I just want to print the keys alone? So for that, we are having a function called key. So if you use this function key alone, it will give you the output of all the keys available on this dictionary. When I run example dictionary.pdf. Okay, so it's not keys, that's why I encountered the error. So if you use keys, it will give you the keys that are available in our dictionary. So if you want to print the values alone, you can use values. Example dictionary.values. So if you print that, you will get the values alone. So this is how you can work with a dictionary. And if you suppose that now I just created 2 pairs. So if you are having a lot, about 100, 200 keys and values, it's difficult to, you know, if you want to extract a particular, suppose that in a school, I just want to get the email of a particular student. So in that cases, we can call the value by specifying to that particular key. I'll show you how. So I'm just writing the dictionary, and inside the square bracket, I'm pointing to that specific key. So in our previous example, in order to get the email ID of a particular student, you can write the student's name. So here I'm just pointing to that particular key to get that value. So when I point out to that key mail, I'm getting the value of that particular key. So xyz@gmail.com. So you can, as I said, you can modify the values in a dictionary. Suppose that I just want to delete the year, the entire key and values. For that, we can use a function called del. Del will delete the function, delete the key and the values. Okay, so we use delete in order to delete that particular value. So use delete our variable, and inside the square bracket, we just point out that particular key. Okay, so let's see whether it got deleted or not. It's dictionary. Okay, you can see that the year is being removed from the value, from the dictionary. Okay, can you please explain the real-time scenario? Yeah, as I said earlier, we can use list. No, you can in order to save the group of attendance sheet, you can use dictionary in order to save the attendance sheet of particular class. There will be a lot of classes in a school. So for that particular class, how many students fail, how many, how the attendance list can be saved in a dictionary. The email address, the date of birth, all this can be stored in dictionaries. Okay, the next one is that set. So if you are familiar with mathematics and if you come from that background, you will be familiar with this topic set.
Prem, I just called Hari. പുള്ളിക്ക് കണക്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റില്ല, സൂമിലോട്ട് കണക്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റില്ല. പവർ ഒക്കെ വന്നു, പക്ഷെ സൂമിലോട്ട് കണക്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റില്ല.
അല്ല, എന്തെങ്കിലും നമ്മൾ അഡ്മിൻ ആയിട്ട് ആഡ് ചെയ്യേണ്ട എന്തെങ്കിലും ഇഷ്യൂസ് ആണോ?
അല്ല, അങ്ങനെയൊന്നുമില്ല, പുള്ളിക്ക് കണക്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റില്ലെന്നാ പറയണേ. സൂമിന്റെ ലിങ്ക് തന്നെ ഡയറക്റ്റ് കൊടുത്ത് കയറാൻ പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഞാൻ ഒന്നുകൂടെ വിളിച്ചു നോക്കട്ടെ. ഹരി സ്റ്റിൽ നോട്ട് ഏബിൾ ടു കണക്ട്. അപ്പൊ നമുക്ക് അങ്ങനെയാണെങ്കിൽ അടുത്ത വീക്കിലോട്ട് മാറ്റാം പ്രേമ, എല്ലാവരും വെയിറ്റ് ചെയ്യിപ്പിക്കണ്ടല്ലോ.